I guess. Okay, let me. Okay, let's do announcements and or public comments. Do we have any? Okay, we'll move on to roll call. So myself, Chris, I see Joe, I see Skip, I see Kevin. Alfred is on. I didn't see Kurt Felix. Is he on?
He said he's trying to dial in.
Okay. And Will, you're on. And
That's correct. Yeah, I'm here.
okay. And I see Denise Coffey is on.
Yep.
And did I miss anyone?
I think you got them all.
Okay, let's go ahead. The main topic on this evening meeting is the recently received bids for 2021 Area 1. When I say recently received, they came in at 2 p.m. today. I sent out the handwritten bid tab that was prepared as the bids were opened. It was prepared and signed by Charlie Sumner and Dan Robbins. So let's take a minute to look at that, and we can talk about who the apparent low bidder is. And I'll give people a few minutes to take a look at it, and then we can initiate some discussion. And maybe just to remind people, I sent out the bid form, but when you look at the bid tab, you have the base bid, which is all the yardage, and then the alternate one is what we've been referring to as the amended permit area, that 4,100 extra cubic yards. And that's the way the bid form was broken out, and that's why the bid tab mirrors the bid form. So are people ready to talk a little bit, at least at the summary level? I can summarize what the numbers are telling us. One thing which you can't tell from the numbers alone, but from the second sheet, where we have the spreadsheet for compliance with bid requirements, Coastline Consulting did not qualify and is not on the Mass DOT pre-qualified contractor list. So they are not eligible for this award, which moves the needle up a little bit to Burnham. So right now, Burnham is the apparent low bidder. He's complied with all the bid submittal requirements. And the next step is the engineer will check and verify the references that he provided with his bid. Skip, your lips are moving. Is anyone else hearing Skip?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. That's a hell of a mute button you got.
Yeah, it said mute. Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah.
Okay, so the engineer, does the engineer check to see that the items of the equipment that we felt were necessary, are they summarized somewhere by him when he compares the three eligible ones?
Some of the documents that were required and therefore were submitted with each of the bids is the equipment list. So yes, Dan Robbins will be looking at the equipment list.
Other questions or comments? I would encourage people to go to the website of that low bidder, Burnham Associates in Salem, Mass. It gives a nice overview of the work they do and the projects that they have completed. Alfred, are you familiar?
By way of reference, Burnham, and Alfred, you certainly can confirm this, I believe. Burnham performed the last Wellfleet Harbor dredging back in whenever it was, 2000 or 2001. Is that a true statement, Alfred?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
And they have on their website a photo and a description of that project here.
I mean, the last time we had dredging, some of the permits and stuff, because of the timing and stuff, were a little screwed up. So they came in, dredged to hold the permits. So I guess the statement I would say is the last time Wellfleet was dredged, they worked with us and themselves to make sure that everything did get done under the requirements.
Didn't they do some work, Alfred, on the L pier with the putting in
No.
the bulkhead?
No,
No.
that was, correct me, it's Regan or Reagan Construct. No, it was somebody out of Rhode Island who was doing that.
So something.
I don't believe they did dredge work. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, this wasn't really dredge work when I was looking through the folders. It was, I remember seeing a piece of equipment with their name on it.
The L pier itself had all new pilings put on it. The decking was replaced, and a couple of the support pilings were sistered. And when they put the decking on it, they put all new deck stringers under it.
But that wasn't Burnham.
No.
So it looks like numerically anyway, it's pretty straightforward. Again, just subject to confirmation of the various references that in this case Burnham provided. So the question is, do we want to make a motion to accept the apparent low bidder, in this case Burnham, contingent upon and subject to verification of the reference in his bid?
And that would be the work which Dan Robbins is putting together.
Right.
Chris, I thought I sent the draft of that motion I worked up to you, and I'm looking now and I don't think it went out. So I just resent it to you.
Oh yeah, no, I had it. I had it the first time, I think.
you did it?
Well,
Okay.
this one looks longer. So So let's do this. I'll read this and then we can talk about it. And then if we so decide, we can formalize it. So the proposed motion is the dredging task force recommends that the town accept the bid to dredge Wellfleet Harbors Area 1 commencing October 1st, 2021, submitted by Burnham Waterway Associates of Salem, Mass. On September 1st, 2021. This recommendation is subject to the interim town administrator's receipt of a statement from GEI Consultants, Inc. that Burnham Associates meets all of the qualifying criteria required to perform all components of the dredging service as required by the town.
So that
I
would
would
put,
second that motion.
I'm sorry, did someone just second?
Yes,
meant
it's
it.
Kurt.
Okay. Hi, Kurt. So I guess having read the motion, I suppose that constitutes having proposed it on my part.
Not necessarily. Somebody else can
Yeah.
offer it. It's your choice.
No, go ahead. I'd rather have group therapy here.
Well, I drafted it, so I'll make the motion.
Okay, and Kurt, you still second it?
I'll still second it.
Okay. Do we need to reread it or we go ahead and vote on it?
If there's no discussion, we can go ahead and vote. Anybody want to reread or discuss?
it looks like if there's 4 bidders, and one wasn't certified, this Burnham is the low bidder. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
And that would keep us, I guess, doing what we're supposed to in terms of looking at low bidders.
Okay, the motion is on the floor. Any other discussion? Chris, you want to do a roll
Let's go
call?
to a vote. Alfred,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Skip,
Aye,
Joe,
Aye.
Chris, aye. Motion passes. So just as we go forward, GEI is, as I said, verifying everything, and he will formalize it no later than September the 8th.
Is
The
Dan
idea-
on here tonight?
Excuse me?
Is Dan on tonight?
No.
No, he's not on this call.
I just find it surprising that somebody went through all that to bid on something and it actually isn't on the sheet. So I question whether or not they're going to show up where they may have actually been submitted this stuff and just not publicly approved yet, kind of deal. I don't know.
You're talking about the Mass DOT thing?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, no,
somebody-
I don't think that's in contention because the review meeting, I think, is on Fridays, and Burnham was in that. I think Burnham was in that same position where he had to get on that list. If you remember,
Chris, I believe the review meeting was this morning, and the submittal had to be last Friday to be on today's review meeting.
oh, okay.
For time of bid opening, that waiver was approved by the state.
So the low bidder didn't submit that packet on time, is what you're saying, Will?
Or they didn't approve it. They appeared to say they had a submittal, but they did not give us any approval from them, from the state, because they come out with the list right away, and they gave us access to that list today.
I'm not
Approved.
Okay, I'm not sticking up for the other one. I just didn't know what the mechanism was in case
Yeah, so
of a glitch.
exactly. Well, that was, one of the questions that could come up. So we called the state and asked them, everything had to be submitted by Friday for review and approval today, and then they would update us today, which they did.
Okay, any other discussion on the bids or on the potential award? All right, next item would be when we should have a next meeting. I don't have a specific date. Maybe we tie it more to an event, or we can set a date. What do people think?
Well, if you go 4 weeks, that's the 29th, just a couple of days before they're supposed to begin dredging.
My only question would be, in terms of all the all the notification, I know Nancy's doing a lot with the shellfish community. Is there anything else that we need to do before dredging starts to warn the public, so to speak?
The requirement is for a public notice to be issued by the Army Corps of Engineers, and that has been issued. The permits
And then I
and
know
everything else.
Alfred was involved in a lot of preparations the last time. There's still a lot of work to be done before dredging commences. So, and I just don't know what the status of that is in terms of making sure it gets coordinated.
Well, Johnny Clam asked me yesterday where the silt fence was going so that they could decide what they had to remove or possibly move in the shellfish world. So I really think that maybe waiting a month may be too long. I mean, my question to Will would be, when would we actually have a game plan, how, where, what, so that the town could get ready in the shellfish world for some of that stuff. So I don't think we want to wait till they're coming. I think that it may be a discussion prior to that. Not just the shellfish, but in general.
Yeah, I would agree, and to the point where, let me just see something here. If we want to resume Monday nights, then I think I would propose a meeting on the 13th.
I like that better because that gives us another 2 weeks.
People okay with that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sounds good to me. I guess the main issue would be just in terms of whether we have a plan and whether there's any loose ends that still need to be addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, that would give time to react and make sure we have everything in place, especially on our end.
Well, I think we need an oyster survey, certainly on the bars, unless they're going to be moved, so that in case of a mishap, we're not dealing with it the last time, like A, we didn't know what was there, and B, we didn't know where it was. I mean, when they start making the corner, the last time they dredged, they had a problem. They washed one of the bars out. So, I mean, I think it's up to the shellfish department to do a real survey of what is there to protect the town and the dredge company.
Alfred, does it make sense to maybe ask, Nancy to come the 13th and provide a report, so at least we have direct communication with them in terms of whether there's loose ends or whether this is.
Yeah, but I think maybe we can have one during the day where Dan or Alyssa may be more helpful, so that they can break it down into what we have to do, what we can do to make this work that much better. And I think the shellfish department is open to it. I just don't think we should wait that long. I mean, this might be something that Will and Nancy and a couple of us could have a discussion soon about.
I think for this particular issue, that's a good suggestion. I still think we would have a DTF meeting on the 13th. Again, in time to react to anything else. But I think doing this, getting people together, Will and Nancy and yourself and Johnny, I think you're right, could and should be done sooner, and could just be set up ad hoc.
Because the last time they dredged there, they opened it up for seed picking. I'm not saying that's what we should do this time. I mean, they may want to do a transfer area. I mean, but it's something that and I think the silt fence was determining how far back they felt as though they had to go, if they had to go, or where the silt fence was. Because I'm not making a statement in this anywhere till, we know a little better. But I think the fact that John did ask was huge, and the fact that he's trying to get his head wrapped around what he's got to do.
Alfred, do you feel the need to have that meeting in person, or is Zoom acceptable?
I'll be meeting with Johnny on Friday about that, and because the silt fence that he was asking about, the turbidity curtain, will be moved with the work.
Alfred, you want Dan, the engineer, involved, I think I heard you say. Do you want that in person, or are you suggesting that we do it by Zoom?
Oh, we could do a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
I think that way there, the fish, my concern is the shellfish community needs to be part of this, so that if they have to do some type of a relay or something, more of them are aware of what's going on.
Yeah,
Chris,
Nancy also put out she did put out something to the shellfish community specifically asking for input on whether they should do a significant clearing of everything near, in, and adjacent to the dredge area. So getting all the seed out of there, or, a variety of different suggestions in terms of what they should do with the resource that may be, maybe there already or near.
She wanted to dredge the harbor, that channel in. She wanted to get the boats to take out stuff in the dredge area. That went out in the shellfish cry of the last letter she put out.
Well, we've always picked that clean before they've come. So, I mean, I think that needs to be addressed to the shellfish community. And then if they decide not to do it, at least at that point, we were strongly supporting doing something.
And Alfred, for this discussion, to include yourself and Johnny and Will and Nancy, what role would Dan Robbins play?
I think he's more of in case we have some communication gaps, so that if he's telling us exactly what's going on with the silt or turbidity thing, and that's not what happens, and the contractor isn't portraying what Dan told us they were doing, so that at least we have a basis for what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
Because technically Dan is our clerk of the works for the most part, correct?
Yes. So his primary input for this would be the silt control measures.
Yes.
Okay.
In the turn too, Alfred.
No, I don't. I agree. I'm just saying that's why I believe what he tells us is what we should see. So for us to read the plan and make our own interpretation may not be in our best interest.
Chris, do we want to reach out to Dan and Nancy for some times and see if we can schedule it for everybody?
Will said did you say you're gonna meet on Friday?
Yeah, I'll be meeting with Johnny on Friday about it, and I could certainly get a hold of Alfred and Dan to see if they can meet as well. So we can go over that, or we could have a pre-meeting with them and then get the responses from Dan to have him prepared to tell Nancy and Johnny what exactly they'll be looking for.
Sure.
Alfred, if I understand you, I think you wanted Dan together with Nancy, Johnny, Will, yourself and us, all on the same Zoom call, as opposed to, doing it two separate entities. Is that what you're recommending?
I was recommending it only so that if something goes, I mean, the shellfish industry happens to be the largest player in some of these things, and it'd be nice if we don't have a conflict. That's why I was.
Yeah, I think we should send out emails requests to Dan and Nancy tomorrow, given their somewhat hectic schedules, because the days are going by.
And
So-
it may not hurt to find out through Nancy what her predecessor did for the exact same thing, because obviously there had to have been notices sent out and filings saying what was happening with the shellfish industry at that point. It may not hurt for her to do the research to find out how it worked the last time and what was good or bad about it. Because once it starts, we can't change.
And she may need a little time to do that. That's why I think tomorrow we should reach out for a schedule for next week sometime.
Well, if she doesn't have the information, she's not going to have an A game. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. How do the members feel? Do you want to do that plan?
Definitely do it earlier. I mean,
Yeah.
close in to where we are now, because
Well, I'm
They didn't ask-
proposing we do it tomorrow morning and, give them the opportunity to give us schedules so that they can plan.
yeah, because they may have other things they were going to do.
Yeah.
You got to give them an opportunity quickly.
I could picture a prelim discussion being useful, even without Dan iron out and then agree on what we do need from Dan, which is as a minimum what Alfred said, the silt control measures and where they're going to be. But I think there's probably enough discussion that could be held on Friday about what to do in addition to silt control and get their schedule. But we can notify people. I just think that prelim discussion, if it needs to be prelim in order to have it still this week, I think Friday's a good day for that, even if the follow-up with Dan is until early next.
Well, you're looking at Thursday, tomorrow, and I don't think that's giving Nancy much time, given her schedule. It may not be realistic.
No, but I think it would. I think a Friday discussion would flesh out what everybody thinks and needs.
What I'm saying, Chris, is it sounds like Nancy is essential to be there.
Oh, I agree.
So how are you going to pull that off tomorrow to see? You'd have to call her first thing tomorrow morning to see if she's available on Friday.
Yeah. I think Will is planning to meet with her on Friday anyway.
Well,
So
Will mentioned Johnny. Will, is Nancy there too in that meeting?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we can all meet. That's just as easy.
And the meeting's already set up, just basically.
Well,
Yeah, and
you
then
know
we can get everything prepared to come back to the meeting that you want to have everyone together on Zoom, and then we can have a preliminary meeting for that about different topics and issues that may arise, so we can have a little preparation and reach out to Dan as well with other thoughts and ideas of what we may need, so we can be better prepared.
Yeah, I mean, just as a sidebar comment, I mean, I think our role as a dredge task force committee is really just to make sure that that all of the key players are working together. As long as Nancy's obviously well apprised of what's going on. Will, has she ever met with Dan? I mean, have they had a coordinating role together at all?
I don't know. I would assume
I
so.
don't think she has heard.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know she's talked back and forth with Dan quite a bit. I'm not sure about what the topics were or any of the discussion, but I know that they have gone back and forth over many
Okay.
issues related to the shellfish.
I mean, that's the main thing is if he's the clerk of the works, obviously the interest, I think, of most of, I don't want to speak for the committee, but it sounds like most people are just concerned that those communications happen so that there's a smooth, smooth interface between the dredge project itself and the shellfish community.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure we have to be that involved as long as the communication's happening anyway.
Yeah, no, most of the players for this discussion live on the pier daily.
The Friday, the 3rd, that's the date of the meeting.
That's what Will said.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when I'll be meeting with Johnny and Nancy.
What time is that, Will?
I don't know yet. It's all dependent on the day and what this storm may bring or may not bring. And then we'll get together when we all get on duty on Friday and then set a time.
So you'll let Alfred know, huh?
That will be easy.
Yeah.
And then maybe see if, it would be ideal if Dan would be available, then that would really kick things forward.
What else do we have, Chris?
Okay, so we have that, and then nonetheless, we'll have a DTF meeting on this Monday, the 13th at 7 p.m. And the next important item is a motion to adjourn. I'll entertain such a motion.
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second that.
Skip, that you?
Yep.
Okay, voting. Alfred,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Kevin,
Aye.
Skip,
Aye.
Joe.
Aye.
I'm conflicted. Aye. Okay. All righty. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening.